in 3, 2, 1. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the KD Ratio Podcast, your place for all things nerd. Tonight I'm joined with
Dylan.
And just Dylan and I. You got us tonight.
No,
I'm
Kyle.
excited. Kyle always is a Debbie Downer, and I don't really like him much anymore.
He probably would have been really depressed about any topic we talk about. No, I'm kidding.
He'd be falling asleep. And, yeah.
Deep breaths.
So let's talk about, because I know you and I are actually watching The Last of Us Episode 2. I know you watched it. What are your thoughts about how this, let's start with just overall impressions, and then let's get into some of the things they've changed.
I thought it was a really good second episode. Still staying pretty close to the story in some aspects, and then other changes, but I still think it's not like, for example, the only thing I can think of right now is like The Witcher and how they took the source material and then just kind of like threw it against the wall. This, they're still using the source material, and then they're adding actually understandable and good content to it.
Yeah.
So I really like the second episode. I do really want to see Joel and Ellie's relationship. So I've been wanting it to get there faster, which we're finally going to get there, but I've been kind of like, come on, just have the person be gone, and then just Joel and Ellie, because I want to see Joel's character start to open up. Whereas up until now, throughout the second episode and the first episode, he's kind of just been, silent or very grumpy.
Yeah. No, overall impressions were great. I think just from a visual fidelity standpoint, fantastic. The landscapes are great. They feel apocalyptic. Like, it feels very quickly abandoned. Like, there's some serious effort that went into a lot of the scenes.
It's like almost pulled right out of the game.
Yes.
Multiple.
Well,
of those
so many
scenes.
of the shots too. There's so much, like, you could tell I feel like this is one of the first adaptations that's just like copied the games as close as it can.
The director is the director of the game, so it works out that way.
And it's impressive to see, like, maybe it's easier to make a film series just by copying it, because it's the materials.
Think it would. I don't know why nobody ever does that.
So, but there is some changes. So let's get into it. So the mycelium change, where basically, now you'll have to remind. It's been a long time since I played the games. I know you've played them a little more recently, but I don't remember any mechanic dealing with, like, when you stepped on a root, it would alert clickers or these walkers or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's completely
new, right?
new. Yeah.
So I love that. I think that adapts to the screen really, really well.
Well, I want to see. They haven't shown it yet, but it might have replaced another gameplay mechanic where it was in certain areas where infected had been like died and stayed for a while, they would start emitting spores.
Yes.
And then they'd have to put on a gas mask. I don't know if it's not in the show at all, but maybe they
Did you watch after? Them. Did you watch after the series?
No.
So there's I didn't know. I didn't go back and check it for the first one. I don't know if they're doing this, but after the show, after all the credits, there's about 5 minutes of them going through and doing the makeup and talking about.
Wow.
I think it's the director that's on there, and he's describing, like, how proud he is to where the show is. And he described exactly that. He's like, in a game, you can have a gas mask, and you can have, like, this meter that builds up so you can detect how close you are to being infected just from the spore exposure. In a TV series, it doesn't really adapt, right?
Yeah, because otherwise they have their mask on, and then it'd be like...
Yeah. And then, like, what do you have? Like, this UI bar on the screen to,
just
like,
all of a
show...
sudden pops up.
Yeah, right? So it's kind of weird. So I really like this mycelium adaptation where, it feels like a living world. Like, it's true to, like, how fungus organisms interact, because we know about fungi, like, they can inhabit, like, I think the largest fungus is like multiple miles long. Yeah. Like, it's like an entire forest. And so they're playing on, like, real nature, real, I don't know what to say, like, potential, like, that this could happen or whatever, but they're playing on reality and biology. But while also making this, fiction adapted to
Yeah.
TV. And I'm all for it. I really think it's interesting. And it's also leaning on the gory side of horror, right? Where
Oh,
the kiss.
it was so gross.
God, I hated it. I hated seeing that. Oh.
But I do one gripe with that scene. A few seconds earlier, it shows her knocking a bunch of grenades on the ground. Why not just use that
Yeah, I was really
instead
confused.
of this faulty lighter?
Yeah, it was like fake suspense. It didn't make any sense to me. But that's just a silly little gripe, I guess. But I think she maybe had a lot more confidence in her
Her lighter.
in her lighter, I guess. What was also very interesting to me is we saw a graphic at the first episode that said when you were bit on the neck or head.
Yeah, you had different infection times.
And from what I recall was when you were bit in the neck, it was like 2 minutes. And she had a lot more time than 2 minutes when she was infected too.
I think hers counted as the body.
Yeah,
even though I know it was like right on her shoulder,
collarbone.
But because I think the body was like, I don't remember what the graphic was, but I know the neck was the fastest, and then maybe
your foot was like potentially a day or something like that. It was all these different rates, which is kind of it's interesting because it would be like doesn't really make sense because your body's circulating blood like regularly.
All the same.
I don't know. That doesn't really make sense. But let's talk about the clickers and the makeup.
Well, the other change was the beginning.
I guess, yeah.
The very beginning, the doctor in Indonesia.
Oh, yes. So where she was like provided some context as in there's no stopping this, blow everything up.
Yeah. And like showing kind of where it started was just some factory.
Did we ever have that context? Like that
No.
It started? No, it just was there.
It was just there.
Well, yeah, I guess there was maybe a clip. No, yeah, there was not. No, there was never any context as to where it maybe started and grew from. Kind of crazy to see her reaction. I think it adds to this overall suspense of like, fuck, there's no way out of this, and maybe puts even more importance on Ellie.
Yeah.
To that, like, hey, if she does have some kind of immunity, we gotta protect that at all costs, right?
Yeah, it makes it more grave.
Yep.
These zombies don't mess around.
But for me, this is really where the story really kicks off. Mm-hmm. How many episodes do you envision this being? I don't know if they've announced that. Is it like 8 or 10 or something?
I'm not sure. I think my guess would be 8.
Yeah.
Or maybe 11.
Oh, between there. All right.
Between 8 or 11. But the clickers, we'll go back to that. The makeup, I mean, it's just so creepy. Like when, was it what episode where they cut open the wound? Oh no, that was this episode. She cut open the wound on the dead lady in the beginning, and you could see the fungus growing beneath her skin. That was disgusting.
Or she reaches into the mouth, and I'm sitting there panicking the whole time,
like she's gonna bite
down. Yeah. And then she drops it and then runs out, and I'm like, "What are you doing?"
And then the little fungus comes out.
Oh my god. She knew exactly what it was. She just started panicking. I thought, one of the things that I'd like to see maybe a little more of is them being more resourceful. First off, they should have collected some grenades and stocked up in that spot instead of just running. And I'm like, this is exactly how it feels in the game when you can this guy's using an assault rifle on you, and then you kill him and you can't loot it. And you're like, damn it, why can't it's right there. Give me it.
You only have your assigned guns that you find in specific areas.
And he didn't drop any ammo, even though he was shooting at you for 20 minutes. I'd like to see them get more resourceful because you know how he stepped on the glass? Like, I wish that you could maybe find that he would find bottles or something and redirect them.
Like the game, yeah.
Exactly.
Where he throws the brick.
So it's a lot more strategic. And I can see how that... And this goes along with the spore change or the mycelium, because I could see how that would wane on an audience just watching. If they're they're trying to fight 1 or 2 clickers and they're spending 20 minutes trying to navigate around. You're like, okay, versus, oh, I stepped on this vein. Now I have a horde,
coming
chasing me. The stress on screen is a lot higher, right? So I would just like to see them maybe be a little bit more resourceful. Joel obviously already knows that they're blind. Mm-hmm. So let's start throwing, let's make noise on the other side or something.
He did do that he pushed the statue over into the glass when it was chasing him.
Yeah.
So he knows that he can redirect him. We just have to see him apply it.
We have
more.
to see him apply it a lot more than just because I felt like when he did that, it was a reaction to them just chasing him, and so it wasn't. It was less of a tactical awareness. It was more of like just fucking pure panic.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Did Ellie get bit a second time in the games? I thought that was maybe new.
I don't remember.
Because when she uncovered it, I was like, oh, that might be different.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't. Probably not. Because, I mean, they already established that her bite is, there. And then with Tess, it kind of proves the point of how fast somebody does get infected. But that was another change, too, with Tess at the end. I just remembered that. It's in the game, isn't it the Raiders?
Yes,
that
it's
come
the
in and kill her?
military. It's like, what is it, Fedra or whatever? That's coming to chase her down.
Yeah,
Instead, now it's
the zombies.
the zombies, whatever you want to call them. Do we ever have a name for the regular ones? I don't
Not that I
remember.
know of.
Yeah, like walkers, but I feel like that's just
Walking Dead. Yeah.
I don't know what we call just the regular zombies. Just zombies. I don't know. It's interesting. It's a great narrative, and I feel like obviously there's a lot of love and care being put into this to just copying the games. I mean, the games were a wild success. It's interesting to see it too that like they're able, like even this where they're doing the best they can to do a 1-for-1 match, they're still making some tweaks for people to get upset about, like, this is dramatically changing the outcome. What about this? There's this note in this corner that I read and it conflicts with this. And he's like, just calm down. Let's just let's realize this is fiction. It's interesting though. I love it. I love to see it.
I'm wondering with the next episodes. I'm really excited to see those story beats, but like I wonder if there'll be any controversy with Bill's character, which is played by the same guy that plays Ron Swanson,
Nick Offerman.
Nick Offerman, but he's homosexual, and that's in the game. And I just wonder if the media might take it up and say, "Oh my gosh."
Really? I don't know if they will.
I hope not.
Yeah, I mean, Bill is such a cool character.
Mm-hmm.
He's like this doomsdayer, preparist guy, and it's just interesting to see.
Is there a specific scene or scene from the game that you want to see most?
I think the introduction scene when they know kind of where Bill is, but like Joel knows that he's gonna have it booby trapped to high hell, and you're trying to work around and figure, outsmart Bill, and I think that whole like stressful dynamic could be really interesting.
I can't wait to see. I've seen it in the trailers. I think the when they're on the highway, and then the bandits have them pull over. I can't wait to see that because in the game I love that where the guy walks up and then Ellie's like, we should help him. Joel's like, no, I know what this is, and he just rams into him, and then chaos. I want to see that because it looks like you can see him outside of a truck, like looking like they're ducking from stuff. So
I think the after scenes credited like a little quick trailer, and I'm pretty sure they showed that scene.
See, so I'm excited because that's one of my favorite in the game is just how all of a sudden it's like chaos.
Well, that's the world that they live in now, right? Like Joel has been hardened by like the harsh realities of this world, and that's not like ignorance, or that's not him being just brash. That is him taking what he knows and identifying a situation, and there's not like a police force here.
No.
Like, you gotta do what you need to do to survive.
And
right?
then I want to see when Ellie gets kidnapped too. And I think I've seen in the trailer that they cast the guy who does Joel's voice as actually in the show.
Really?
I think.
Interesting. What character does he play?
Troy Baker? I don't know. But I thought in one trailer I saw his face.
Huh. Does he ever do any acting?
I think. I'm not sure. But they had Nolan North do acting in Uncharted. Just a quick little.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if you can call that
Yeah.
acting, but it's interesting to think that because does he do motion capture stuff at all?
Yeah.
So then he's definitely trained as an actor. Be interesting to see how much involved or what character he would play. Maybe he's the doctor.
Maybe it's just a small part.
Yeah,
Just like, oh,
some
hey.
firefly or whatever. It's kind of wild. Love it.
I can't wait also to see the reactions to the ending for people who don't play the game.
I feel like the spoilers are too. I mean, you have to.
You have to know. But,
Right?
like my dad, he doesn't, and he's watching the show with me.
And
so.
he's not Googling after
Yeah.
trying to stay informed and stuff. Is he enjoy? So as an outsider, is he enjoying it?
Yeah, he likes it. Pretty much just, he said he liked it. No further comments.
Yeah, my wife is really enjoying it. She's like, this is a really good show, and she's like, kind of started to poke around on the internet. I'm like, you're going to get stuff spoiled, and the good thing is she only has had what happens in the second game spoiled for her.
Oh, okay.
So she hasn't had, and I'm just wondering if that's like a recency bias on Google because the second game obviously came out more recent than the first, so it kind of gets buried in the search results. But she's like, Joel dies, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right, you can know that. That's fine.
Like, that's fine.
I'm not worried about that. Where does this game rank of all time for you? Is it top 5?
Yeah, it's pretty close. Like I was saying on an earlier episode, this is one of the few games I beat on the hardest difficulty.
Yeah.
And I did it because of how much I enjoyed the game. And also, Naughty Dog, they make games fun to replay. They add, like the skins, the modifiers, like infinite ammo, slow motion, mirror world. And they give you incentive to go through it again because you earn those points doing challenges while you play. So it's pretty close to number 1. It's probably not number 1, but it's definitely top 5. What about you?
Wow. You would almost put it at number 1.
No, it'd probably be 4 or 5.
Oh, okay. So not really number 1.
No. Close.
No, it's probably in the top 10, but not top 5 for me. It was a good movie or a good show, good game, good narrative, but that's just not the type of games that I get really
story
jazzed
driven
up for. Yeah, it's like, no, give me something better to feed on. One game that I've been keeping my eye on is the Day Before. I don't know if you've ever seen any of that, but it was recommended to me recently to go check out. I guess it's been on like a long release schedule. It's been one of those games that just continuously gets delayed. It's by a Fantastic. I don't know. Never even heard of that developer.
Fantastic
Might be their first game actually. Let me look. There's not much details on these guys, but apparently it's a zombie game at its core. Yeah.
Their title.
Fantastic.
No.
Oh.
We are creating one of the most anticipated games in the world.
Sounds like a marketing
Yeah.
machine. Their website sucks. Products. Let's see. Not good.
Day Before Prop Night.
That one doesn't even look like it's out either.
It says it's
And they've
the
created
ultimate
an app.
for remote work.
Wow.
Awesome.
We are all over the board. It's like it started as that, made some money, and they're like, it'd be great. Let's make a video game.
Let's make some video games. You see the money in those?
I don't know. Like, I haven't seen too much about it. It's coming out, I think, in March. So, but I do like the concept. It's like I think it's like an extraction type survival. So maybe that's more of like dungeon based content, but it's set in an MMO, which is really, really interesting. So like, I would guess that you have this like open world. Then maybe there's like realms, like think about Last of Us, where there's like, the Fedra, and then there's the Firefly zones and stuff.
I think it'll probably be, at least in my head, very close to the Division. Because to me, that's how you do like a apocalypse MMO.
But is Division an MMO?
Mm-hmm.
It is?
Yeah. So there's multiplayer. There's areas where it's just your lobby, and then you can go in the dark zone. And the dark zone is like the PvP.
Yeah.
You can run into a bunch of people and like you either work together or you kill each other. So I can see it being maybe similar to that in layout as far as how they're going to do it, where there's areas where it's just the AI and your party
and safe zones.
and then you go in the Division, they have it as the dark zone, and so you enter the dark zone, and that's when it's like, all right, all bets are off.
Yeah.
Anybody can shoot me in the head.
And I'm sure that there's probably like they're gonna do like some quest modes, or like they'll probably time it up to and sync it to where you can get in, grab materials, come back out, and go back to your safe hub and stuff like that. I guess I've never really played the Division, so I didn't know it was considered an MMO. That's interesting.
It's pretty fun. I mean, the main reason I probably stopped playing it was just I didn't have anybody to play it with.
Those games have to be played social.
But like the Dark Zone is a really cool concept. Did you ever look into it as far as the extraction part?
No, but I love what you just described.
So what you do is you go in and you can go in with a party, or you can just go in by yourself. And then you're in a section of depending what game, New York in the first one and then Washington in the second one. You're in a part of the map that's been quarantined, and it's just there are AI, but it's mainly PvP. And you find AI and you kill them for their loot. And so you collect loot, and it has a bunch of high loot everywhere. And then the thing is, though, you can't take the loot out because it has to be decontaminated because of the infection.
Yep.
So what you have to do is you call a helicopter.
Yep.
Everybody can see the helicopters coming. You have to wait for the helicopter to get there. Plus, you have waves of AI coming, depending where you call it. And then you have to run up to the helicopter, attach your gear, and load it, and then the helicopter takes off. But during that time, somebody could come up,
take you out, loot your stuff, and have a nice day. What a cool concept. It sounds exactly like Tarkov and how it's set up as an extraction. It seems a little bit more intense than Tarkov. Tarkov is like a very mature adult experience. Like that, the customization, the depth to that, the looting, and just I guess, I don't know if you would call it crafting, but storage and how attachments work and customization to your guns and loadout and stuff. It's just insane. And then they do like regular wipes, which is kind of weird, but I guess it keeps the game interesting.
So like everybody loses everything?
I don't know if you lose everything, but it does like a hard reset. Like there are specific wipes. I don't know how it functions, but I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, you spend
especially
all this
as
time.
an MMO. If you're gonna call yourself an MMO, like you want those whales or like those OGs to just be so far and ahead away, like in your game, so they continue to want to come back, right? So I don't know. It's kind of interesting concept, and it sounds like this is probably going to be very, 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 very similar to that. It'll be interesting to see if they pull it off. I haven't heard much about it, and they have a release date here coming up, and their website blows.
Yeah. I do see, however, Unreal Engine 5.
Wait, is this one of the... Maybe that's why it's been delayed.
Yeah, it says it looked like it was pushed back from June 2022 after they made the decision to shift to Unreal Engine 5.
Oh, so that is the exact reason why.
Yep.
Well, that's crazy. That means that's one of the first few games to come out on Unreal Engine 5.
The first... Is it the first game? Forspoken comes out here really soon.
I think games are coming out like right about now.
Because it's the one... It was the one they used as like the tech demo to show people what Unreal Engine and Lumens... but it has Lumens in it.
Forspoken?
Yep. Although I haven't heard good things about it, and that's not reliable because there's a review embargo up to a day before release.
Well, graphics are not a replacement for gameplay,
yeah,
right? At all in any capacity. So let's talk about the review embargo, because we got a little bit into this with the Callisto Protocol, and so basically what happened was you couldn't launch your review or post your review online until release, right? It wasn't the day before, or was it the day before?
Yeah, I think it was release.
I think it was on release day, right? And that game obviously came out and it was lackluster in a lot of ways. So why don't we get into this one?
Yeah, I mean, I personally take that as a red flag when a game has a review embargo right up to release. I mean, you look at God of War, it was 2 weeks out. They said, go ahead, 2 weeks ahead of time, tell the people what you think of our game. But then when a company's like, no, wait for it to come out, that doesn't look good.
I'm all for having like
mystery is fine.
Yeah, I'm all for having like an NDA that's explicitly like, hey, you can't go out there and tell everyone exactly what the story is.
Mm-hmm.
And, obviously there's implications there. Like if you come out a week before and you say, chapter 1 is about this, and you go and you do this, and then less people are going to get excited about the game. They might not buy it and go, oh, I don't like that story, or I already know about it. But that's different than what this is. This is, you can't even talk about your experience on it until the game is actually out.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd be fine too if it was just like major reviewers were the only ones who could release their review, because then it's like, okay, that makes sense. They have credibility to worry about, so there's not going to be any leaks. But this is no one can talk about. I think I saw somehow GameSpot put out a review, I think, for Forspoken, but they're the only ones.
It's crazy to me that like this shit continues to happen, because how many gamers are upset with even the fact that you can pre-order? Like how many times do I just see like, do not pre-order anything. It's not worth it. Wait until see. And then it's always this conversation like, a bad game will be bad at release for a long time. You can wait a day or whatever to get the impressions. And then the industry is also doing this shit. It's just like you're getting double smacked in the face as a gamer, and people are still pre-ordering.
Yeah, it doesn't change anything. I mean, you see the deluxe editions with the extra skins or extra V-Bucks to buy stuff. But like recently, did you see the drama around Suicide Squad? The Rocksteady game. A screen was linked of the main menu, and it has a not season pass, battle pass, and people are losing their mind over it. It's like, honestly, I expected that. Like, there's no game that's fully multiplayer that I do not expect a battle pass in now. It's just part of the culture, but people are losing it, and they're like, oh, that's so stupid. It's supposed to be a co-op game, but they've fallen so far. It's like, the game's not even out yet.
Yeah.
It's like, there are good games with battle passes. Like,
you can do it right, too, where it's like purely cosmetic changes and experience boosts that make it a little easier, and you can unlock, whatever. You can do a battle pass fine, and I'm all for like, games continually getting iterated on. Mm-hmm. Like I think that's a good thing for gamers. You love a game, it doesn't just die right there and see you later. You got to wait 2 years to install DLC. It's like,
it keeps giving you incentives to play.
Exactly. So I don't take issue with that. I think, but where I take issue is if the developer then sees that that's been leaked and they just act like they just ignore the fact that it was released or leaked, because that doesn't make sense to me either. It's like, hey, if this is 2023 now, that this is spread like wildfire to probably most of your core fan base. Definitely, probably like north of 50% of the people who have pre-ordered your game. That's just a guarantee. Yeah. So that like this is this community that's being very loud is the same community that's going to buy your game. Yeah. So address that. Be like, hey, you know what? We are doing a battle pass, and these are our plans, and this is what we're thinking about doing, and we want to be transparent and like get that back under your control. But I've seen some development companies that they just act like that never happened.
I think that's what Rocksteady did. I think it's radio silence.
Yeah, and that's just a terrible policy to have.
Because then people brainstorm and they come up with worst case scenarios that it's like, no, the battle pass might not even be that, or it might be that bad, but you have no clue.
Right. It turns into this like festering ball of speculation in a pocket of the internet that everyone seems to be really, really touchy about. And I mean, Reddit is just a cesspool for that kind of shit, dude.
100%.
Oh my God.
I know there's a whole community. We won't talk about it much, but they're trying to ban, or like they're taking pledges to not buy Hogwarts Legacy.
Okay.
Because of
like No Shave November.
Yeah, because of J.K. Rowling.
Oh yeah, wow. Okay.
Because she gets so much money from those games. Yeah, she gets royalties, but she's not the developer.
What is the stigma about her after all these years? It's insane to me.
It's her political views.
Yeah, but like, who cares?
I know.
You can't remove the artist from the art. Like, praise like you praise her for years, and then she makes a couple silly comments that you don't agree with or whatever, and
now all of a sudden it's worthless.
Jesus. It's not like she's the president or the one enacting the policy. Like, she just has a voice, just like you.
Yeah. And it's crazy how toxic the internet can get so fast.
I honestly think that shit doesn't bother me because it's the internet's not real. It's a fake place, and so like I honestly think there's a lot of genuine connection and genuine stuff on the internet, but I also think that there's like an enormous amount of like fake shit that would never occur
like
in real
inflated
world.
egos.
Yeah. And just people trying to get, like those platforms incentivize you to get maximized interaction, right? And so like there's the whole karma thing, right? So you post something that gets a lot of feedback interaction and all of a sudden, boom,
You're popular.
Yeah, you have more karma points, whatever the fuck that means. So
Worthless internet.
You could be a moderator of a forum. Wow. Big
Get
responsibility.
paid $0.
You are important. It's like, no, dude. This stuff is the shit that people do, and it's just kind of mind-boggling. So I think like there's certain platforms that incentivize that noise, because it's just something to talk about too. I think people in general, even in real life, like they want to. It's not like, oh, everything is so good. I'm so happy. They like they point to the two things that are going wrong in their life, and they illuminate the hell out of those.
And you focus on them, and then it just seems horrible. It's like, well. So you're looking at the very minute, horrible thing. Look at all the other good things.
While I sit here fat and full, I've never had to kill an animal to eat my meal. I eat meat regularly, like, and I've never had to do any of the shit that would really suck.
Yeah.
Hunt and gather for any of that stuff. I got running water when I need it. Yeah.
I'm not being shot at when I step outside.
I work from home. I drive my car once a week. All this shit, but like, damn it, this game did a review embargo. No. I pre-ordered it. Damn it. I want a refund.
The one, speaking of the review embargo, going back to that, is Dead Space, the remake. For some reason has one up until Thursday. It comes out this week, and it's just like...
I was going to say, isn't that dropping like... I thought it was last week that it actually came out.
No, it's Thursday night.
I feel like this thing has lost a little bit of steam, maybe because of the Callisto Protocol.
I don't know. It's weird for me for a remake to have a review embargo because it's just the same game. Well, I guess it's not. They added new parts to it, like 15% of it. I think they said is new. But I don't know. I'm still really excited for it, and I'm still gonna get it. But I don't like review embargoes. They make me uneasy.
Well, it doesn't make sense. Like, without the review embargo, how early are they giving people copies to play? A week?
Yeah.
2 weeks? It's like, what are you waiting for?
I know. And I bet they've already sent it out to review, people so that they could play it. And
yeah. I mean, like, what market do you hope to capitalize on? So, like, you do the review embargo. That definitely is going to impact who buys it, right? It's definitely going to impact who pre-orders it, because if they haven't seen anything about it, then they're going to be like, eh. So like you miss out on that, and if you don't do the review embargo, then like, okay, you risk like your game being shit. But guess what? Your game was probably going to be shit anyway, and lose the same amount of people, if not more, on the back end, because they now see it, and it just doesn't make it makes no sense to me, honestly. It seems like such a boomer mindset, like a business mindset of like, let's keep this locked tight,
let's keep it under wraps.
Yeah. These corporations and like large players, they always seem to like, you feel like, oh, they make, really qualified decisions, based on data and empirical evidence. And no, it's generally like a couple people saying, maybe we don't do that.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that sounds good. And then they wrap a nice narrative around why they're doing it to management. And they're like, yeah, sounds great.
All
approved.
Right.
And it's just like, what the hell are we doing? It's 2023, dude. Everything leaks. Don't you know this?
Everything.
Like, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
I did want to go back to, I know we're kind of jumping around, but Hogwarts Legacy. I know you're really excited for it.
I somehow I've gotten to that point, which is crazy.
I'm excited for it. I watched. They released. Have you seen any of the gameplay?
I did.
It looks good.
It definitely looks good. It
I-
looks creative in what you can do.
So I was super surprised. Did you see the stuff with like the animal care? I did. I didn't even know that was in the game, and I was like, they didn't have to add that.
Yeah.
But there's a whole section where you can take care of any animals you save, and you can name them, and you can pet them, and you can build their environment to look however you want. And then just the rumor requirement, how you can customize that. They're going
your home to home instance kind of thing.
Yeah. They're going hard.
It is interesting. None of that stuff gets me like crazy excited. Like,
but it's like I
want to go feed my birds or whatever.
I didn't expect that to be in the game at all.
Right.
I was just thinking, it's going to be like a story game. You go shoot stuff and then you collect and
No,
loot.
dude, this is like
they've actually started to.
It's like a Hogwarts sim.
Yeah. So do you think, to theorize on it, do you think we're going to go through all 4 years? Because they said there's seasons.
Good question. I don't think so.
Or is it just 1 year?
I don't think we're gonna start off as a beginner. I actually think we're gonna kind of come into it with like some basic knowledge.
From what they said, we come into it
as like a freshman.
Freshman in knowledge, but not a freshman. We get our wizard gets found out late.
Oh,
and so we come into it like not brand new, but you're new, like an outsider, like Nomad from Night City, or like coming in fresh.
Okay.
And so that's what I've read on it so far, is that we come in from the outside, but we're supposed to be further along than a freshman.
I kind of like that because the reason why I said what I said is because I was judging based on the age of the characters that you generally we have seen in the gameplay, and so I'm like, oh, you can't be that old and not have been to Hogwarts your whole life, right? So apparently you can. But yeah, that would be kind of neat where you kind of like that. Those are your levels, right? I don't know how you do it. You get like 4 levels per semester. I've graduated to junior.
Did you play Bully at all?
No.
Bully was fun.
Yeah.
I wish more games kind of took from that aspect of you actually had to go to the classes, and it was like a fun little mini game, and you could skip the class if you want, but there's consequences. And so it'd be fun if you had to go, make potions, and it made a nice
be cool, like that's how you learn spells.
Yeah, it made a nice like daily routine for a game. And I haven't seen many games do that recently. There's Persona, which is this Japanese game that has a daily routine, which is fun, and like you can get into that routine kind of gameplay style, and I really enjoyed it, and I wish more would do it. So I would be excited for that, but I'm not building up my hopes for that. But it'll be interesting to see how they incorporate the school aspect of Hogwarts.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they handle the dynamics of like are you defending, like what is the gameplay? Like what is the narrative? What is the story?
I know a little bit from
leaks.
No, I think the gameplay. I think they mentioned some hints, and this is my theory, and I think a little bit of what they've said is that your character, you have like residual ancient magic, and so that's the game. Is you have ancient magic that you can call upon, and there. Imagine where it goes from there. I don't know.
Is it like it'd be cool as if we had the games that what the fuck with the tribunal? What are they? The cup.
Oh, the Goblet of Fire?
Yes. It'd be cool if like that was the story. We had to like earn the and we had to play through those different games.
That could be a DLC on its own. Yeah. Just think about it. That'd be great.
Because I don't know what I doubt that like you're gonna defend Hogwarts from like something.
Some crazy world-ending disaster. Reapers show up.
Yeah, right. I would imagine that you have to go off-site and do something because it's open world. So maybe there's like some cult of fanatics that are pre-Voldemort that you're trying to shut down or something like that.
Well, and it takes place way before the movies.
Way before.
Like, isn't it like 1920s?
I don't know the year that it's taking place, but it's like not it's Hogwarts is definitely already established, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you go to each of the schools, because we
I would
learn about
wish.
that in like Goblet of Fire, like all the different, magic schools and stuff. It'd be cool to go to each one, like they were their own sort of realm and they all played within this
They could
world.
probably do a game for each one.
Yeah, you get into the car and you travel to the other world. I don't know how that
Were
would
cars
work.
invented yet?
Oh, yeah, you're right. How did that? They just ride a broom. Like,
And they said
the whole way there.
in the gameplay, they said the in their lore, the technology of brooms had just been like discovered. So you help like the inventor like maximize his invention. So that's how you upgrade your broom is you help him learn by doing tasks on the broom.
Huh.
So the broom, I guess, didn't exist until the game.
Way.
Yeah.
Wow. That seems very weird. Like I like how you said technology because
Yeah.
it's not magic. Then it's technology.
Well, I guess I don't know. Somebody's like, what if I cast a spell on this broom? Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I hope you get to experience maybe like the full, fleshing through like what it is to be a wizard or witch, and like you go through and you pick your own wand. You can customize that and it finds you and maybe you have to try a couple different to like really see what's going to give you crazy stats that you want, and then you
Not
find
just
the
a
one
menu
and,
that says this is more damage. This is quicker reaction time.
yeah, that would be pretty lame to be honest, but take you through that full experience and I don't know, I feel like they could have a lot of fun with this.
Yeah.
You could just make it an open world like set in that world and mini quest it up and then just have like some super simple narrative. I think it'd still be a lot of fun.
What house do you want to be in?
Probably Gryffindor. That just seems
That's
to be what I would navigate to. Although Slytherin, like if you look at it's like cunning and like if you look at the traits, on paper I would probably choose.
Have
that.
you ever taken the test on
No,
Pottermore?
my wife did.
You got to take the
I
test.
know. I need to take the test. I know. She was Hufflepuff.
I'm Gryffindor.
Okay.
Do you remember what her Patronus was?
No. Probably Doe.
My Patronus is a dolphin.
A dolphin?
Dolphin. Yeah.
I'm just going to say Doe because she just seems to be like that kind of person.
A doe. But you should take it
She's
and see.
adorable.
I wonder, though, how they're going to implement that into the game itself. Like, is there going to be a questionnaire right before you put on the hat? Or maybe what I was thinking is maybe they'll have a bunch of small choices leading up to the sorting hat that kind of helps determine where it's going to choose you. Or maybe you just get to choose. I don't know. It'll definitely be interesting. Because if you get to choose, it doesn't really make you... It's not a sorting hat. But I guess if we look at the lore of the movies, didn't the hat say that Harry chose?
And he said that was totally okay.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. But he also could read your mind, right? Of like what... That's how he did it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he read Harry's mind. But no, he said it under his breath.
Yeah.
So I don't know how... Honestly, that whole thing was a little wonky to me.
So we'll wait to see how you can do that. But I definitely
what would be cool is if you didn't have any of those houses and it was like... It was pre those houses, and maybe you could choose... Maybe there were different factions. So you didn't feel biased towards...
a specific
You
one.
don't hate Slytherin, right? Because everybody would hate Slytherin. Maybe they're like...
And surprisingly, a lot of my friends, they don't hate Slytherin, and they're proud to be a part of it. I'm like,
Okay.
according to the movies, it's just bad guys.
It's 100% bad guys. There's no one redeemable in Slytherin. Like, they created everything evil, and it all sucks, and everyone's gothed out of their mind, and yeah.
Snape is a good guy, but he's a bad guy.
Yeah, he wasn't really a Slytherin, right? Was he?
I thought he was Slytherin.
Was he?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like
I
the
don't
only
remember.
redeemable one. And
Yeah, but
barely.
only because he fell in love with
because he loved a girl.
Yeah. Hey, we do crazy shit for love, right?
Become a double agent.
Protect your baby that was never mine, for the rest of my life. It's very weird, huh?
Yeah.
It's like, what a great story arc, though.
Yes.
Dude, what a...
And a reveal. I
what
mean,
a great reveal. He takes a tear and like you don't even see that coming.
no.
To be honest, because Snape gives you nothing, even a hint of redemption.
He just seems like an ass.
And I usually hate that in story writing because I think it's so lazy, where it's like this character is like so non-redeemable, and then there's some big twist at the end, and you're like, oh, okay, he's the good guy, and you're like, the fuck, why'd you do any of that shit? But the way they did it, where you could see into his memories and stuff, and then you could see that he was tormented, and then they set that narrative up with Dumbledore of, I don't want to do this anymore, you have to do this, and it was like, oh, he had to be that guy to gain this trust, and it immediately forgives all of that.
Yeah,
and
and
you're
it's
like,
just
oh wow,
it's good writing on that part. Like you said, I've seen shows where it's like, they have like for example, there's this show. It's an anime called My Hero. It's pretty popular, and there's this one character. His name's Bakugo, and he's just an ass. And like, he's just an ass. No redeemable qualities. And I know they're gonna make him like, be the good guy or like self-sacrifice or something. But it's at this point, I don't think I'll be sold on it.
Yeah.
I couldn't care. I want him to die. Like I would be happy if he was gone, just because it's important to add either hints of redeemable qualities or make the reason why good enough.
Yeah.
In which Snape, the reason why and the context you get is good enough, I think, to justify his assholeness.
yeah.
And he's not even.
Because
It's not.
Voldemort was a threat to everything.
Yeah. But it's not like his assholiness isn't too bad to make you like hate him 100%. You just don't know why he hates Harry this much, and you think it's because this, but then you learn this, and then
Yep. And then you go back and you're like, you go to the Quidditch game and he's casting a spell and you're like, oh, fuck this guy.
Yeah,
But he was the one protecting him.
he was counterspell.
Yeah. Whatever that is. So
How they do that,
Yeah.
who knows?
that's the thing. So I am not, you know this, I am not historically a fan of Harry Potter. There are things that I love, and the story writing, the books I think are great and stuff, but I am not historically a fan of Harry Potter. The books are...
Did you read all the books?
Yes, I did when I was a kid multiple times. That was like my mom and I would just go through and we would read them always. And the thing about Harry Potter, and this goes for a lot of fantasy, and Lord of the Rings falls into that for me as well sometimes. But they pull magic out of their ass, right?
Yep.
It's like, okay, they use the same one spell for every combat, little quick blast, boom, boom, boom. And then they pull this super obscure one for this very specific thing. And you're like, that could have applied to 6 different things that you just did. Like, why are we not using any of that?
Well, like
it all goes out the window.
Cruciatus or whatever, where they freeze them.
Yeah, or literally almost any of that shit in Harry Potter. Yeah, or like they, believe me, it's crazy. I like there. It's really hard to get the bounds of like how strong is the magic or not.
Yeah, I mean, a ton of fantasy does that with power scaling. Like even video games. You look at God of War, for example. Kratos, sometimes he can move like a freaking mountain. Other times he like gets, he gets knocked around and a house stops him from breaking through. It's like, well, I don't know if that works that well. Or when he punches some dude, the dude just like moves barely. Where, if you added math up, he would probably be orbited into space from Kratos' punch.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all fantasy does that, but I get what you mean. Especially, I think it's worse with spells because you see them applied, like, for specific reasons, and then you're like, well, why didn't they use that way earlier?
Like, one of the most important spells that they spend a lot of time learning is the spell that, like, takes your wand out of the other person's hand. It's like, is that really the best we could do? We have all this magic, and it's like, let me de-weapon you. Like, unsheath your weapon. I'll never forget, like, the end where all the wizards, in Hogwarts, like, they put a shield around, Hogwarts as a school, and then Voldemort with his wand. Sure, it's the Elder Wand or whatever.
Yeah, just
boom, a big old beam, and it's like for days he's holding it. It's like, okay, where's the fucking scale of this?
Dumbledore. That fire spell? What the hell?
Yeah, when he's weak
Nobody
as hell.
ever does that besides him.
And that's the thing too, is like there's some wizards that are more powerful than others. They don't really.
I guess I can understand, at least in Dumbledore's case, because he's the headmaster.
Yes, and he had the Elder Wand at
Yeah.
the time. But like, what is that scale? Is he 3 times as powerful?
Yeah.
I define it in a way, because like he could go from not doing anything, and it's just weird too. Then there's like time travel. She gets the watch as a gift from something or whatever, and
From Dumbledore?
She's doing time travel the whole time so she could take extra classes. It's like, why don't we go back in time and fuck up Voldemort?
Yeah.
Why aren't we doing anything with this shit?
And you think if in the final Harry Potter, they're going to war. Like, they're making these kids have a war.
No, yes.
But they decide, let's not teach them any of these cool spells that Dumbledore can do. Let's just, stupefy and,
They teach them the murder spell, and then like what is the one that takes the wand out of it? Whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then like the quick little blast, like, hiya.
Yeah, but not a giant flaming inferno. Or like even in Fantastic Beasts, they showed more of Dumbledore fighting. Those spells are cool. Doesn't he put them in like a whole mirror dimension?
I've never seen.
You haven't?
No.
You should watch the second one.
They look good.
At least for that, because they showed like Dumbledore, and he has really cool spells. One, I believe he can like summon mirror dimensions. Like
that's
kind
kind of convenient.
Yeah.
Huh?
And it's like, oh yeah, that's he just decided, I'm never gonna use this again.
It just blows me away that Harry Potter to me is one of the worst examples of it, because it's all over the place. You're like, what the fuck is, and then there's like the Expecto Patronum or whatever, where like he repels the
Death
Eaters, whatever they're called.
Only one application.
Yeah, only one application, and then he summons a fucking beam from God and, repels the entire lake of Death Eaters, and it's like, okay, sure, like...
What does that mean?
And they're, like, learning the spell, and it comes from an emotional state, and he's got a lot of emotion! And it's like, okay, I don't understand this, man. It's so random. It always fits the exact situation. It's like, okay.
But that is one thing I'm kind of excited about Hogwarts Legacy. From what we've seen, the gameplay... the spells work as they are supposed to. Like, have you seen, like, you can use Avada Kedavra and it one-shots people?
Oh, all right.
So, but
there's a recharge time.
There is a recharge time, and they said that they limit where you can use it because it's, like a forbidden spell. But yeah, you can go to this arena and you can shoot it and it kills instantly.
Huh.
And so I'm happy with that. At least they didn't nerf the spells for like gameplay mechanics. We'll just have to wait to see how the rest.
I just hope they include like a lot of really creative ones.
Yeah.
So it makes the combat fun, and you're not doing one of 3 actions over and over.
I haven't seen it, but I for sure Leviosa would be a good like juggle. You pop him in the air and then you shoot him a couple times.
Yep. Just start like totally manipulating your enemy. Well, Dylan, where can people find us?
They can find us on Instagram, Twitter, as well as Spotify, where hopefully you're listening to us, or any podcast listening platform.
That's right.
And lastly, YouTube, where we do weekly streams on Tuesday at 7. And we also upload the podcast.
7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Yes, 7 p.m. Pacific. And then we also upload the podcast as an audio on there for you to listen to for people who maybe use YouTube music.
Yeah.
But yeah, come join us. Leave a comment, like, subscribe.
Love it. Remember, with a good KD, you get the dub.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.